Okay, just want to do a quick video to help people understand what's going on under the hood. So when you are using the front end to write, um, the front end is just taking your instructions and passing that instruction to the LLM, to the large language model, and then query the language model. Now there are a few problems that usually happen. So even if this will happen with um, ChatGPT, if you gave ChatGPT an article title and say, please write me an article on this, it's going to start the process. It may give you a good draft. But what you'll notice is that each section of the drafts is sort of incomplete, not full, no proper context and content length. It should be very short. You need to do more work to get a full article, a proper full article out of ChatGPT. So what we're trying to do here is to actually get the LLM to write the full article and write proper in-depth sections for each part of the article. And to do that, we have to do a number of things. We can't just say, give it one prompt and get it to do it. So that one prompt I'm giving it, the code then asks the LLM to write, to first of all give us the keywords. So let me just go through that quickly. I'll just say, let's say marriage in the UK. So it's asking the LLM a question about give us the keywords that would be expected in an SEO document for marriage. It looks like nothing is happening here. You feel it looks like it's hanging, but it's not hanging, because if you go to the server had written a lot of things. Let's just go back there to the app. You see, the server is writing. It looks like it's hanging again, but it's not hanging because the server is writing. And your server will write as fast as your PC would allow it to write. I think that unfortunately that's a limitation that's there. So in my PC, I can have up to 24 CPU threads. I've put it up to 10 in this time. So in other words, it has 10 threads to use to write anything that is requested. And because of the way LLM works, they're working by making guessing the next Latin, the next word, the next sentence, the next. And so if you have just one CPU thread, it's going to take forever to be able to do that. So it's having to sort of do parallel threading. And so we get that. Again, it looks like it's hanging. It's not hanging. It's only right in the process. So if for whatever reason you feel your app is hanging after you ask the question, have a look at the server. Again, once you open LM Studio, you know how to get to the server is to press this icon that has two arrows going opposite direction, and then you can see the server working. As long as your server is working, it's not hanging. Yeah. So another point I'm trying to make is that we're doing quite a lot of work here. We're asking the LLM to write in a specific way, and it will take the initial query. So let's say the query is royal weddings about in marriages in UK. It will take that query and think, what would be the best way to answer this question? And all that the LLM is being made to answer that reasoning. So it's going to reason what's be the best way to answer this question. Then it will create a prompt for this question, and then use that prompt to write the section out. So that's about 2 or 3 calls to the LLM, and those 2 or 3 calls then allows it to write something that's a lot more um, expected as a human writer. Um, so it feels natural. It feels a little bit less like it is AI. Okay, is it still AI? Yes, it's still AI. And maybe it will still um, fail the test. But the point here is there's a lot of work going on in the background. So when it seems like it's hanging, it's not hanging. It's just doing the work you would have had to do. So let's say you are doing this work yourself, you would have had to pick up the royal weddings, look at in terms of marriage in the UK, go and do your research, formulate a micro outline for that section, then write it out, then check the spellings to make sure everything is right. So what the LLM is doing all of that for you in the background. That's why it looks like it's hanging. It's not hanging. Again, if you want to check that it's hanging or not hanging, just go to the back of the server and you see that no, it's not hanging. It's working, and it's actually working very fast. Right now, I know that if you were to use the chat function, you see the response happening a lot faster. That's because I've made it stream the responses to the chat interface. But for writing the articles, it proved too difficult to make it stream and still be able to make the corrections that we needed to make in order to write a good article. So as a result, what we've done have had to do is make it do all the work in the background, correct itself, and then print out the corrections. So I'm hoping that explains everything. So that's the process we use to write. Again, if you got run into any trouble, any difficulties as you're using the AI, just kind of throw me a line, and I will kind of try to explain if there's any difficulties. Now I know some updates are coming soon. At the moment, it just writes everything, and you can't really interact with it and change things up in the writing process. But I'm going to create an update where you'll be able to add your own keywords to it, adjust the keywords. You'll be able to actually put in um, subject line. So when we say keywords here, so whatever you put here becomes the headline. Because someone was asking me earlier on, is there a way that you could do it so that we can actually put in our own headlines and it write the articles on the whole headlines? So that will be able to be, you'll be able to do that at a later date. So just one more point to make. If you check how much threads your CPU can run, you might be able to increase the speed of the app on your computer. So my CPU can run up to 24 threads. That's why I've placed it up to 10 here. I think it's advisable not to go more than half of what your amount of threads you can run, purely because the higher you go, then the computer may start to struggle because it's needing to use threads to do other things on the computer. So like on my computer, I've got 2 screens here. I've got a music software running as well. I've got a lot of different things going on. So I'm using the remaining 15 threads for doing other things whilst LM Studio, the LM Studio is writing my article. Right. Yeah. So again, if you notice it's stopping, it's not hanging, it's just doing a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure the article that it comes out with at the end is brilliant and good enough as an SEO article. Okay. Take care.